All right, today we're going to look at Chapter 3, Section 5, Weight Training in Sports. Okay, this is actually probably one of the longest sections of this book, or this unit that we're going to study. Probably the longest unit in this whole health class that we're going to do. A lot of good information in here. Whether you choose to participate in sports or weight training or not, it's just good knowledge to have. All right. Weight training basics. We're first thing look at the real benefits of weight training, and there are quite a few. You're going to get stronger toned muscles. You're going to strengthen bones, and it's going to help actually improve circulation because of that, and help you manage your weight as well. Okay, those four things together really do make weight training in itself worthwhile to do. It is something that you can spend as much as 2 hours, 3 hours on a day, or half an hour, and you'll get some pretty good benefits from it. All right. And if you're looking to do this, you're going to look to lift about 10 to 12 repetitions to make you tired or fatigued. So for example, if I'm doing simple arm curls where I have weights in my arms, if I do it 10 times and I feel like I haven't really done anything, that means I need more weight. If I get to 6 and I just can't do anymore because my arms are too tired, that means I got too much weight, all right? Regularly, you should be able to lift the weight 10 to 12 times to actually get to the fatigue and tired stage that you're looking for, all right? You can often do these in more than 1 or 2 sets if you want to, or up to 3 or 4 even. Now, if I did do my arm curls one day, I want to give it at least minimum a 1 day break in between. A lot of kids in high school, I have them do 4 days a week. They lift some things on Monday and Tuesday, and they'll come back and lift similar things on Thursday and Friday. That's so they get their 24-hour break in between. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions I kind of want to do away with right away is that girls in particular, seem to have this misconception that if you lift weights, you're going to develop large muscles, all right? And, pardon the term, but maybe you look like a she-man, as some people would sometimes refer to it as, with these large, overly developed muscles. Most females aren't going to do that. Some can, and they typically work very hard at what they do, and that's great for them. At the same time, though, they most women aren't going to look like that. They're actually just going to get toned, fit muscles, and like we kind of goes back to that first point that it's going to be used to strengthen your bones, help weight management, and things of that nature. Those of you looking to participate in activities, weight training is probably one of the best forms of training on a week-to-week basis that you can use. Last thing I'm going to talk about is some of the activities that are out there, referring back to the girls in weight training. Girls that do ice skating or even gymnastics, if you've ever watched them, you know that they actually use large amounts of muscle strength to do what they do. So obviously they're going to need that weight training to actually maintain those activities. Then we're going to talk about sports next and what the fun and wellness aspects of it can be. Some of the benefits of it are going to be you can have fun, all right? I can tell you firsthand that the amount of fun I've had playing in sports in my lifetime. I still have fun coaching them, which is still kind of to me an aspect of playing in them. Positive self-image. People that typically participate in activities typically have higher self-esteem, have a better look of themselves because it requires a lot of hard work and discipline. And those things typically bring more of a positive self-image. Here's probably one of the bigger factors is that it's a good way to prevent health problems such as obesity, possibly blood pressure problems, heart problems. And it's scary but true, but there's kids that are going to hospitals ages 16, 17, 18 years old with heart attacks because they're just in that poor of health. And participating in sports is one way you can kind of, get rid of those factors just by, being active and having fun at what you're doing. Okay, you have two types of sports categories. First type is going to be the team sports. Team sports is just what it says. They're activities that are done with a group of people. The two examples I have on here are basketball and volleyball. There's far more than that. You can count football, baseball, softball, hockey, just to name a few more. There's far more than that even. So, but obviously, like the name says, it's a team sport. You're gonna win and lose as a team. You're gonna do everything as a team, type of deal. Then you're gonna have your individual sports. Your individual sports are done by yourself, or activities that are done by yourself. Some individual sports that I can think of maybe having to do with kids your age would be like a cross country runner, um, weightlifting. Track and field there is an individual concept to it within a team concept at the same time, and there are those activities that incorporate both those. Wrestling is by a lot of people is considered more of an individual sport than a team sport, but there is a team concept to it, especially when it comes to team points. Either way, you get the idea that there's activities that are meant for be more individual and the ones that have to be done as a group. You could also, I guess, you throw gymnastics into the individual sports as well. There is a team concept, but the individual is also part of that. Now, when you play in activities or sports, you're going to have to use proper gear, all right? Proper equipment that for your sport that you're participating in, i.e., you're going to need knee pads if you play volleyball. You're going to need shoulder pads. Pardon my spelling there. Shoulder pads for football, helmet, all those things of that nature. They are there. They're required. In football. They're required. In volleyball, knee pads are actually not required. However, anyone that's ever played the sport knows that you're pretty foolish to play without them. They're there to help and benefit you. It's just no different than a mouth guard's used in a lot of sports nowadays, and as a way to actually to reduce the chances of concussions. Obviously, your teeth grind together. It causes problems within your head, and is actually one of the leading causes of concussions. To go along with this, make sure your equipment fits properly. If you have knee pads that are overly big and slide down your knee by themselves every time, they're not doing you a lot of good. Same thing with helmets and shoulder pads that are overly big or overly small. If they don't fit properly, it's kind of hard to have them around. What you eat makes an effect on what you do. Plan meals and food intake around your activity. Plan good meals. Don't be eating a bunch of junk food the day of your competition. It's proven that it'll slow you down and actually have an adverse effect on you. Plan on plenty of fluids. Drink lots of water before, during, and after competition, or when you're participating in these activities. All these things work together in that if you're not properly hydrated, you can have problems with possibly leg cramps, muscle cramps, things of that nature. And instead of being in the game or in the activity, you're going to be sitting and watching, trying to get everything loosened up so you can actually try playing again. Avoiding dangerous substances, okay? Now, this is a very serious matter. And the reason it's such a serious matter is that a lot of people want to promote their abilities in any way they can. The use of illegal substances to promote activity level is real, and that's why I put that line in there. If you don't think people are willing to do it to gain an edge on somebody, they will. But it's going to come with some consequences and risks. Obviously, one of the biggest substances that are out there nowadays is something referred to as anabolic steroids, okay? These are substances that promote abnormal muscle growth. Okay, and a lot of times these can have some very negative effects as well, okay? Yes, their muscles may get bigger, they may get stronger. Anabolic steroids originally were actually nothing more than horse growth hormones. So people that used them had a lot of problems with them. One of the more famous football players from the 70s that used it and used it quite openly was a guy by the name of Lyle Alzado. If you ever go and look information up, you'll find some interesting information on the man. One of the things you'll find is that he openly admitted to using steroids as a way to get a leg up on the competition. The only problem was it ended up probably costing him about 20 years of his life, as he died of cancer in his mid-50s. And the cancer was a direct result of his steroid use. But it also has many other negative effects. First and foremost, it is illegal. Anyone caught using it, whether it be at the state level at the school level or the police level, it is illegal. They are not legal to have by the normal person. High school, you get caught with it, you are banned. I think you get a year's ban from a competition. I know if an adult gets caught with it, I think the last time I knew it was like a $10,000 fine and possibly a year in prison. So it's nothing you really want to get caught with. It has a tendency to weaken bones and tendons, all right? People often that use anabolic steroids have issues with muscles, tears, things of that nature, and also broken bones become an issue, especially like I talked about those football players that used them. I often found that they were having more fractures than a lot of other people were. Heart attacks, people that try using it and it just kind of gets your heart going a lot harder than what's used to, and people's hearts end up giving out because of it. Continuing on here, acne is an issue. Now, this is one of those things that kind of makes it easy to hide it for teenagers because acne breakout is common amongst teenagers. So if a kid's using anabolic steroids and they're getting acne, well, no one's going to see that as identify it as an issue because, like I said, acne in a teenager is normal. So if a teenager is using it, it'd be a very hard sign for me to tell or anyone else to tell that they're using it. All right, some gender-specific things are females will often form facial hair. Some of the other things that I know that have happened is deeper voice than most girls would have. Even some infertility problems later on in life have been common from people that have used steroids illegally. Males often start the formation of breasts. They also sometimes face some infertility problems later on in life from steroid use. And this is probably the biggest thing steroids are known for is mood swings, or a lot of people refer to as like a roid rage. I've seen it before. It's not a very fun thing to see if you ever do see it. They'll literally be on cloud 9 one minute, and just the slightest thing will set them off, and they just totally go nuts, and they can't control themselves. And if you ever see it, it's not very fun to see. Creatine is another substance. I know some people that have used creatine and had great success with it. I've known other people that use creatine and they've had some very negative effects with it. Caffeine is another thing that people often use. Your energy drinks contain a lot of caffeine. Some people drink them before a game because they say they want that boost of energy. I personally, as a coach, find that very degrading. I think that if the game itself should hopefully excite you enough and give you enough energy to play. And also, to go along with that, caffeine actually has a reverse effect. It's actually a diuretic. It actually pulls more moisture out of your system. Now, when it comes to safety and training, we're talking about a couple of little things here. Okay, conditioning. Conditioning is nothing more than the training to get into shape for physical activity or a sport. Okay, conditioning is a very important part of training. This coaches often refer to conditioning. Kids kind of groan when they hear conditioning. But it's actually one of the necessities to make sure that you're ready to do what you're going to be asked to do. Overworking in sports is also very common. It's conditioning too hard and too often without rest between sessions. Okay, overworking can lead to such things as tendinitis, stress fractures, things of that nature. We will talk about those more in the next section. Conditioning and overworking it's a fine line between the two of them. We need to make sure kids are in shape and that they can handle what they're going to go through, but overworking is also a problem as far as we don't want to cause injuries either. All right, that's section 5 done in a nutshell. Okay. Once again, take some time, read through it. I know you're going to look and say, yeah, Mr. Nelson, this is a lot of what you have in here is what's in the book. Yeah, but there's more in the book than what I have in here. Take some time, read through it, get to know it. Those of you that participate in activities, this is some very good information in here. You should want to know it because it'll make you a better person or even an athlete in your lifetime. All right, thank you and have a good day.